Welcome to another Universes Academy deck profile spotlight. This week we're going to do Todoroki2 off the order symbol. I've kind of taken a personal challenge to at least play the set 2 characters at least for like a week, like because we have 2 events every week on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my end product, kind of like how the deck would end. Like I have my first draft, and then I'll play that for one event, update it, then play it for a second event, and then do some final updates, and then we will come with the final deck list. Obviously, no deck list is ever fully completed, but a little backstory on Shoto. Too, my buddy is going to Origins, and he wanted me to like play test his deck for him, just because he hadn't had a chance to, and get some fresh eyes on it, which is great because if you have people who can do that, it helps your testing out more, and it gives you just more information from someone who has like a different perspective on the game. So it's always a good thing. So after going 3-0 at my locals, I went, first version, I went 1-1-1, which was like a water build, which was my own build. I got his build and then went 3-0 on the following locals. So, a couple of cool things about Shoto. He's very aggressive. He is kind of sneaky defensive sometimes because you can get that snap block to your hand if you need it. There's a lot of times where I would hit with an attack and then immediately snap it back to my hand on the next turn just to have a block or set myself up for another attack, an extra attack. Because his version didn't have a lot of card draw, inherent card draw. It did play a couple copies of Passing the Torch, and it played no calling for backup, so it was really draw dependent on it. Our card choices were a little different, so I won with it, so it's not that big of a deal, hindsight being 2020. And I just made some additions and subtractions to what I would want in the deck, and this is where I ended up. So Shoto, everyone knows he is a fire, order, water, 6 hand size, 27 health. So he's a very, very standard character for stat wise. But he has a couple he's 3 once per turns. Your attack gets +2 speed, +2 damage. Your range attack gets 2 stun 2, which is really good. And then once per turn, you get to become a 7-hander. So if you have multiple momentum, you get to be really big. Hand size. So we're focusing on the order. We're leveraging that stun 2 ability on our attacks. Some of our attacks do have inherent stun or ways to get pseudo speed in a way, because all old heads know that stun kind of takes away two resources, so it's kind of adding speed to the attack. So let me sort the attacks by difficulty and we'll go in. First off, we play Jolt. It's a staple from set 1 format. Everyone knows what Jolt does. It does you play it, you at least hit for 1. Yeah, you don't get stun 2 on it, but its real purpose is when it's in your momentum. Because when it's in your momentum, you can target commit anything and then snap it back with Shoto. On your rival's turn, and then you can also block with it or play it again and just keep cycling it over and over again and ping your rival to death by 1s, which would be inherently hilarious. 4 copies to Eat My Sticky Balls. A couple things. It's a range attack, so it does get +2/+2. Any attack gets +2/+2, but it does get stun 2. Then adding +2/+2 really makes this card not fun to block. So you're almost hitting for 6 most of the, I would say about 85% of the time, and then shoving a card into your opponent's card pool, which if they're not Momo or have a way to deal with that, gives all your attacks +1 speed, which is pretty good. Also has a spicy +1 high. So this is really good to swing on early turns or first, because it's usually going to hit. It's going to stuff their card pool, and then you can always have a nice +1 high block on demand. It's a very, very good card. Next is 4 copies of Half Hot Ignition. 4 mid 4, Breaker, Fury, ranged. It can get stun 2, which is great. It can become a 6 mid 6. You can play the Fire Enhanced to Discard top card of your deck, -1 speed, +2 damage. Very good, very good. Especially if you're able to add some defrostings to the speed or add the damage, or if you can mess with the speed, make it more than printed, drop it, get more damage, always good. Also, this is another card that just says, hey man, we're gonna hit you for 1 at least, and then we're gonna be able to snap back a breaker block, which is awesome. Having a breaker block on demand, and we're not playing like we're not playing water, so we can't play Ice Storm. And we don't have, we're not playing that symbol, so we're not playing the Giant Ice Wall. Yeah, Giant Ice Wall. So no breaker 1 high block, but this does give us a nice breaker 1 mid block. And your kill card, for the most part, 1.3 million volts. No introductions needed for this card. This card just kills people. Giving it stun 2, so you're going stun 1, stun 2, stun 2, stun 2. You add +2/+2 to it, 5, low, 7, and then you get to basically commit another foundation for committing a foundation. So you're already adding 4 damage. It's a 5, low, 11. That chunks people down. It's insane how big this card can get in Shoto. I had my highest one was like 14 damage against a 7-hander. It was great. I don't remember if it hit though, but it was really big, so it was cool. And it has +2 low, so it's always nice having a nice block spread on all of our attacks, especially since we can snap 1 card back once per turn for a block or set up our next turn. Searing Glacial Storm at a 3 of, +1 mid block, 2 high for 6, range, stun 2, great. So we can add stun 2 to it if we need to, +2/+2 obviously. Order first enhance, so our character has to have order, which we do. Both players remove foundations in their stage until each have 5. End this enhance step. So what's great is, since it's your effect, you can choose your opponent to remove their foundations first before you even touch yours. So this is really our deadlock hate, since order is, we're not playing grasping tape toss. So we really need to have some sort of deadlock hate, and this card does it. So we play this on our first card. We first enhance. We chunk their board down to 5. We play another attack. We give it stun 2. If it has stun, that's great. We nuke half their board down. Give our attacks +2/+2. We just go to town and just, kill them. Excuse me. 3x Cinder Convection, +1 high block, 3 mid 5. Charge, powerful 3, range stun, so it can get stun 2, so we add stun 3, but if we have a momentum, it becomes like stun 5, powerful 4. That usually doesn't come into play because I usually snap momentum into my hand real fast because I love doing that, because it's great having extra cards in hand when you need them. But also, if this attack is not blocked, both players lose 2 health. So if you're in a tie with your opponent to where if they're at 7 and you're at 2, and for some reason they don't block it, you burn them first and win because you choose which player, die. Basically, lose the 2 health. We play 1 action. We play Blood Curdle. It's a great card. Remove, commit 1 foundation. Commit your rival's character. There's a lot of characters like Eraserhead, Nomu, the Mirror Match, Mineta 2, Froppy. Oh, I guess Froppy doesn't really matter because she'll just flip and ready. Momo. Midoriya 1, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's a few other. Oh, Ida 1 would be a really good one to do this against. Same thing with Ida 2. Yeah. So you might be able to go in, and if you take away your opponent's defensive options on their character, they're usually kind of stuck a bit. So this also punishes re-readying cards. So remove after your rivals, ready a foundation during the combat phase, commit it, draw a card. So it cycles itself, which is always good. So it's never a dead card in hand. Moving to 0 diffs, we got 4 requests and assistance. Just remember to use this before you snap momentum to your hand, boys. That's it. Nothing new about that. Gotcha, another staple from set 1. If it's committed during the enhanced step, +1, -1 speed, so it's anti-stun, which is great because we don't have a whole lot of that. And then also if we get some speed on, indiscriminate shock, but hey man, that +1 speed sometimes makes or breaks the difference. 3x Desperate Times, we're going to punish our opponents for drawing cards. There's a set 1 format was defined in my opinion, by drawing the cards while attacking and drawing cards whenever you play a card. Being able to cantrip and keep your hand size up in set one format was a big deal. Like the All Might 3 decks, any decks that was anything that played Passing the Torch. Just being able to keep your hand size up and keep continuing putting pressure on or defending was always a premium. So this allows us to set up some committal. So it's a little more, they have to commit something, and then you can go back and stun them. Indiscriminate shock gets bigger. It's a good thing. Bonds of Friendship, +1 high, 1/6, -3 to Fury. It's a staple from set one as well. I don't know how well the Fury lineup is going to do in set two, but having a 6 check while you're playing 9/5 diffs is good. Plus that +1 high is always going to be nice. Self-Sacrifice, another staple from set one. 1/5 +1 low, destroy foundation, get +1 or -1 damage. So we kind of do have some DR in the deck, and it allows us to stay out of deadlock, which is kind of nice. And it just pumps up our damage. Sometimes that incremental one will win us the game, which is really good. 3x calling for backup. Usually you flip this to draw a card. If you need to cycle a card, you can cycle a card. More often than not, you're just going to flip it to draw a card, blow it up to self-commit for something, blow up self-sacrifice, lay some more foundations. My buddy's build did not have this. I think he said he couldn't find the space, but I ended up making some deck changes for my version so to fit it in, because I believe that having extra card draw, always good. 3x Ice Gliding, -2 speed on defense, block, it just rolls right over, which is great. Same thing with the speed buff. So if you're trying to kill someone, they plus ultra block you or whatever, or say they make a really good check on a 6, have a release or whatever, you get +1. So it rolls over, makes your attack just a little bit faster, which is always good. Fruit of Our Labors, some deadlock punish, a low block on a 1/5. Also, it helps us clear our card pool on rivals' turns. So playing against a water clog, or if we need to pitch some blocks, comes in handy. A 1x right now. We do have some in the side, so if we do go against a water clog, those come immediately right in. Plus the low block's really good against water. Ice Storm, Giant Ice Wall, Tongue Whip, so you're covered there. 3x Passing the Torch, draw a million cards. It's the name of the game, man. We draw a bunch of cards. We add attacks for momentum. Why not draw more cards? Drawing cards is great. 3 Creepy Realization. This card is fantastic for against string decks. Or say you're able to sticky balls, indiscriminate shock, or whatever. You just add damage or take away. So it's really nice to have some extra DR on board. 3 Heroic Lineage. If you're you +2/+2 your attack. So why not get an additional +2, especially if it's on a kill? So it could make or break a turn. Also, the defense comes in a pinch. If you need to, you could self-sack your opponent's attack, give it a damage, -3 speed it, block it. So it could come in handy if you do need it. One of our third 4x foundation, Making a Stand, 2/5 +3 low. Enhanced Flip, your rival discards a momentum, which is great because you don't want your opponent to add momentum back to their hand. So you want to be able to clear their momentum so you can add momentum and plus on them. And Enhance for free, you get a free damage. I'm not complaining. That's a great effect. +1 damage. It could make or break the odd to even number on half blocking and get your win that much faster. 2x Final Exam Failures. 2/5 +2 high. Enhance your attack. Flip. Your rival makes a check against a 6. If they fail, they destroy a ready foundation. More often than not, you're flipping this to make them commit 1 foundation, or more if they check a 3. So it's usually pseudo stun, which is kind of cool because it gets around, it can't be fixed because they have to pass the check. So it's committing foundations due to a check, not a stun ability or a committal ability. It's really nice at a 2x. I didn't own these. I only own 1 copy. I was not able to play this in the version I played at locals. So I can't really give you hard data on if it's worth playing at all. But flipping, having them commit foundations, say you commit this to pass a check, blow it up, self-sacrifice, self-sacrifice allows us to have any of our face down cards say this attack gets +1 or -1. and it keeps it out of deadlock, which is great. Excuse me. Defrosting at a 2x. It's a 3/5 plus 2 mid. Enhance once per turn. Discard the top card of our deck. Choose one of the following effects: 2 speed, -1 damage, or -1 speed, +2 damage. Incremental speed, getting +2, -1 can save us on a turn, and minus speed +2 damage could also save us on a turn. So it's really nice to have offensive and defensive capabilities on a card like this. I just wish it was twice per turn because I'm greedy. Yeah, super greedy. I really like this card a lot. Again, it doesn't make or break your deck. It's just really, when you have it, it feels really nice. And when you don't have it, it doesn't feel bad. It's just extra. It's always nice to have that, that hot sauce on the taco, or the buffalo sauce on your chicken wings, like the extra sauce, like you dip it in. You don't need it, but it's nice if you have it. Moving over to the sideboard, we got 3 copies of Fruit of Our Labors. Obviously, this is more Deadlock Punish, more Waterclog Punish. And say we are blocking a lot in a turn, or our opponent is really chain attacking and we need to chain block, we just add more of these in. 1 Short Circuit, damage reset's nice. I would have loved to get one of these in the main board for a 2x, but I'm trying to keep the deck at a tight 60. I know I say tight when minimum is 50, but I have a feeling that the format's going to lend itself to thicker decks. I think we're going to see 60, like 57, 60, 62, 63 as the norm, since now we have better card quality in a lot of cards that people are going to want to play them. To fulfill my duty, staple from set 1, defensive piece. Let's say that we just +2/+2 something and our opponent's holding back a card to see what else we do. We just end the enhanced step and just send it. It could also be used offensively just to, prove a point. 2 copies of compressed ultraweights. This sticks attacks into our opponent's card pool. So it won't clear during the turn, I believe. Yep, during the combat phase, so it can't clear. Also, we can tap down if we hit someone and they have an important foundation. They have, we choose a committed rival foundation. They can't ready it while this card's committed. So basically, it just sticks. It just freezes it a little bit, which is nice. And we side 2 more Blood Curdles because Blood Curdle's really good. And I really think that's going to be not like a meta-defining card, but it's definitely going to be, we had the Plus Ultra format is what I call set 1. I believe this is going to be the Blood Curdle format in set 2. So we'll see how that goes. The deck is a tight 60, 17 high blocks, 17 low blocks. And let me change my stats and let me see. Whoop, I'll roll up. You will see some bad stuff, and 26. So 26 mids. Deck stability of a 1.88. This, like I said, this is the second version of my Shoto. My first Shoto was water, but then I tried my buddy's version and then changed it over to, I think I just played on, I like it on Order a lot. Has a lot of stun, has some really good defensive pieces. It's very, for a lack of a better term, balanced, which is a really bad pun, but sorry, JT, if you watch our content. So that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you think about the deck in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notification buttons, help out UA Academy, Universes Academy podcast. I think with these coming out, I'm going to try to get one of these out once a week, each with a different character. So as the season goes on and we'll have the podcast one day later in the week, the deck profile will come out. We're not sticking to a really hard schedule on the deck profiles. It's just whenever I feel inspired to do one. But I'm going to try to keep up on it. So I'm going to try to film them on Sundays and then time permitting, and then we'll move on from there. So next week, I think I'm going to be playing Monoma off of Life is my first build. So if I don't like that, I'll probably swap to Good because I have some really neat ideas with him and Swift and Nimble. Oh, Small and Limber? Yeah, Small and Limber. Swift and Nimble, it's the same thing. Yeah. But other than that, y'all have a good week, and we'll talk to you later on the next one. Have a good night.